Whether you take HRT or not, there are many other things that we can do to help future-proof our health. And while these may not get rid of the symptoms entirely or be as health protective as replacing natural hormones, they may potentially help to take the edge off. Now, this is a question that I get asked a lot. How can I ensure a healthy menopause with or without HRT? Well, as you know, that I am a big advocate for HRT. It's very safe and actually brings with it a number of very real health benefits for protecting our future health. And I talk a lot about this actually in my book, A Better Second Half. But I've also done lots of videos on HRT before, so if you are curious, do go and have a watch. I'll make sure that we link through to them in the captions and the useful resources below. And I think that generally these are all really good tips for all midlife women anyway, regardless. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start first by talking about diet. Menopause is definitely not a time for calorie restriction. Fewer sugars and carbs, yes, but the focus needs to be on eating more of the healthy fats because these provide important levels of essential fatty acids and cholesterol, the building blocks of our hormones. Without cholesterol and healthy fats, we can't create the hormones that we need to age well. So ditch anything labelled low fat, or even worse, fat-free, and focus instead on unprocessed fats from healthy natural foods, such as eggs, full-fat yogurt, sheep and goat's cheeses, regular cheese, oily fish, pastured poultry and red meat. It's the ultra-processed foods that we really need to watch out for here. And you know, we can't talk about food without talking about gut health. And gut health is just so key to how we navigate this time of life. A specific collection of bacteria in the gut have been found to influence estrogen, and this has been called the estrobolome. New studies show that certain gut microbes play an important role in how our bodies utilize estrogen and its conversion into active forms that enter the bloodstream and reach tissues all around the body. Now, the best foods to support a healthy estrobolome include plenty of dietary fibre from vegetables, whole grains, nuts and seeds, as well as some of the fruits that are lower in sugars, things like apples, berries and stone fruits like plums, apricots, greengages, that kind of thing. Then herbs. So moving on slightly from diet, but in a similar vein, I'm often asked about herbs. Some herbs and supplements contain phytoestrogens. These are derived from plants. And it's not really clear how these work in the body, and there's also not really enough clinical evidence to confirm whether they are effective. The benefits in some studies are around the same as the placebo effect here, to be honest. But there are some herbs reputed to be helpful for easing menopause symptoms for some women. Now, these include chaste tree, and that's said to help with mood swings, tension, anxiety. They've been shown to have potential benefit for reducing breast pain, but the studies have been small, they're not randomized controlled, so who knows. And then there's black cohosh. This may help to reduce mood swings, irritability, vaginal dryness, palpitations, night sweats. Yeah, promising stuff, right? Well, a review of 16 randomized controlled trials totaling over 2,000 perimenopausal or postmenopausal women showed no significant difference between black cohosh and the placebo in the frequency of hot flushes, although the authors did suggest the effect on other symptoms such as night sweats and bone health should be further investigated. The jury's out. Bear in mind, though, that high doses have been associated with liver failure. And on that note, I think it's really worth mentioning here that if herbs are something that you are seriously considering, they are serious medicine. These plants can have a significant effect on the body, and they may also interact with other medicines, so please do chat to your healthcare provider or your GP before jumping in. Another herb worth mentioning, I think, is red clover. This has been shown to help improve some symptoms in some studies, but there is insufficient conclusive evidence. Red clover isoflavone extracts are often touted as beneficial for bones and heart health, but so far no robust studies really support this. And then finally, I wanted to mention soya isoflavones. A small observational study published in the Journal of Midlife Health in 2022 concluded that soya isoflavone supplementation improved some menopause symptoms by around 40%. with most benefit here being seen in perimenopausal women. So overall, the clinical evidence for these herbs is not strong, but that's not to say that some women won't find them helpful. Okay, stress. Let's move on to stress, as this is a big one, but not often talked about that much. And it just really is so key for midlife women. So we know that our ovaries stop producing estrogen at some point of menopause, but our adrenal glands are still able to produce sex hormones, albeit in much smaller quantities. So these adrenal glands also make our stress hormones. So if they're busy producing stress hormones like cortisol, then there's less reserve to make sex hormones. So by helping to support adrenal function and keep stress under control, we may be able to take the edge off menopausal symptoms this way. But how on earth do we do that? Well, breathwork can really be so helpful. Just taking a few minutes each day to focus on the breath, breathing in and out of the nose, and having a focus really on a slightly longer exhale than inhale. This can really help us to tap into our parasympathetic, or rest and digest, response. And it also just gives us a little bit more time to rest. Maybe it's a few hours on a Sunday afternoon just to do nothing, completely chill out. I think we can often feel guilty doing this, but it's really key to our well-being. Rest is an active process. And then supplements. These can be a real game changer here. Things like magnesium. I really like BioCare's Calm Complex, the Naked Pharmacy Marine Complex again. That's very good for magnesium. Magnesium working on soothing the nervous system, helping to keep us calm. And there's also a brilliant supplement by the Better Menopause called A Better Night. And I had a really great chat with the founder, actually, in one of my recent vlogs. Again, I will put the link below if you want to have a listen to that. It is really good. This contains a raft of ingredients that actually aim to target the nervous system, helping us to feel so much calmer while also improving our sleep. I actually keep mine by my bed. And then muscles and bones. Finally, I really want to talk about bone and muscle health. So let's start with bone health. And again, another supplement that I wouldn't be without, and I don't think you should either, is vitamin D. Vitamin D helps calcium absorption in the gut and also helps to protect against osteoporosis by enabling strong bone remineralization as well as maintaining muscle strength. So our ability to process vitamin D decreases with age, especially in women over the age of 60. And we can find two main forms of vitamin D in our food. That's supplements and sunshine. So vitamin D2 comes from plant sources such as mushrooms and algae, while vitamin D3 is mostly found in animal foods, oily fish, cod liver oil, things like that, eggs as well. Studies show the vitamin D3 to be better at raising blood levels. Sunlight also creates D3 through skin synthesis, although it's kind of hard to know how much we need to absorb to give adequate D3 protection. The current consensus seems to be 5 to 30 minutes of middle of the day sun exposure, either daily or at least twice a week, to face, arms, hands and legs without sunscreen. Just be careful not to burn. Pigmentation also reduces our ability to absorb vitamin D, so those with darker skin need to spend more time in the sun for their vitamin D supplies than those who are naturally paler. So vitamin D3 supplements are often combined with vitamin K2. This is important because it not only assists blood clotting and muscle function, but it also ensures that the calcium is easily absorbed to reach the bone mass while also preventing arterial calcification around the heart. So that's very good for both heart and bone health. Exercise is another key thing that we can do to protect our bones, of course. Weight-bearing exercises are really important for bone strength. These include any kind of activity where our arms, feet or legs are supporting our body weight. Yoga is excellent, but even using a standing desk at work counts as weight-bearing activity. And of course, all this helps our muscles too. So sarcopenia, or muscle loss, happens at the rate of around 1% or more each year after the age of 30. Loss of estrogen during perimenopause also accelerates this loss. And losing our muscle strength obviously leaves us weaker as we age, more likely to suffer a physical injury as well as worse metabolic health. But the good news is that by weightlifting, even really simple things that can help to reverse this trend. So I like to train with weights 2 or 3 times a week, and I've gradually built up over time. Just a simple set of dumbbells, that's all you need to get started, because building up our muscle mass also protects against weight gain. The more lean muscle tissue we have, the faster the rate at which we burn energy. This means we can eat a little bit more without piling on the pounds and reducing that so-called middle-age spread. So there we have it, a few tips for hopefully, helpfully navigating menopause with or without HRT. And I think that when it comes to dealing with menopause symptoms, the most important thing is the right to be able to choose whichever route you want to go down. So I hope this was helpful here today. As ever, do let me know your thoughts below. You can leave a comment here, we do always read them. And do make sure that you're subscribed to never miss another episode here. Until the next time we chat, go well. Goodbye.